Never fucking had it.
Shut
No way.
Never fucking
No
had it.
way.
Like, Austin, you trying to tell us something else right now?
As humans, everybody lives in the same reality. We could all be in the same room together, but we perceive it differently.
All that experience, all that emotions, all the things that happen in that one life is boiled down to what we call instinct. And that's the only thing we can bring over to the next life.
You won't behave. You will be canceled.
Coincidence? Coincidence? Coincidence. There cannot be three.
All right. Sounds like audio is working there. Hello and welcome back, everyone, to the Collective Minds podcast. Just going to be a quick little one here. Some updates for you. So, one of the last ones I just did recently, because I've been, if you're on YouTube, been posting some of the older stuff. Explanation for that is that YouTube attacked our channel a few years back. We completely moved over to Rumble, which is still our home now. But I'm going to be posting to YouTube as long as YouTube doesn't continue to take stuff off. Because became daily to where you're just having to wait months until you could post again. Just not worth it. So I'd say the silencing age is over, depending on what you're talking about. It's unfortunate that they're still doing it at all, because I believe everyone should be able to talk. That's how you find the true evil. People that are actually bad, you would want them to feel comfortable speaking. That way you know who they are. You can actually solve the problems. But one of the last ones was about the new food pyramid and the vaccines and how they've dropped it now. The most, it seems like possible, recommended, if recommended, which there's not a big gap there. They're going to try to recommend all of them, is 23 for your child from birth to 6 months old. 23 actual injections. They're saying big win because it was a lot more recently, and people can't wrap their mind about that. You say that to a random person, they're no way. It's true. Look it up yourself. But here we go with this. FDA, just the other day, is notifying all the flu vaccine makers that they now have to add a warning for increased febrile seizure risk in young children. So, following the vaccination, if you don't know what that means, they are convulsions that occur in young children due to a high fever, often caused by infections. They're usually harmless and last only a few minutes, but it's important to seek medical advice after a child's first seizure. So, my conspiracy mind there goes, is that what they are? Or are they just not admitting, like when you hit a body with all those chemicals and the heavy metals, it's going to get a fever to try to fight it off. But if they call it this, whatever this is, oh, baby got a fever, baby died, does it count? Can they say, oh, it's just SIDS, sudden infant death syndrome? And I actually have a friend who just had a baby and no longer has a baby because of this. And we're not close or anything, or else I would have really hammered it in like I do with everyone to not vaccinate. It's creepy. And just ask questions. Just ask questions if you want to know how eerie it gets, and watch how they attack. It's systematic. So the FDA notified influenza vaccine makers that a warning about an increased febrile seizure risk in babies and preschoolers the day following flu vaccination should be added. This announcement was made in safety labeling notification letters sent on January 9th, 2026 to the manufacturers of 6 different flu vaccines. So it's not, once again, it's not a huge W, but in a way it is, right? They're warning, they're admitting in some way that something's going on, that, and just even this might stop people from forcing their kids to get these shots, or at least all of them. It's like we're slowly just dripping out the truth, just slow drip day by day. And if this was, I feel like if we had a different administration, and I don't really want to go there too hard because it really does seem like, the same bird, sometimes even the same wing. But would it be different if the outcome of this last election, the presidential election, would have been different? Would this be Would we still be at the 90 whatever shots? Would it be get the shots or you're going to jail, parents? Would it be worse than it is? Or is it they've had so much craziness that they're having so much pushback now that they're having to draw the line in reverse and start pulling some of these crazy things they're doing to our children back? Like the frog in the boiling water. You throw a frog in hot water, it jumps out. You put a frog in, regular temperatured water and slowly turn it up, it'll sit there until it's dead. It's kind of like that. So have they gone too far to where we can smell, the house starting to smoke and they're like, oh, no, here's your rights back, right? Quote, rights. Oh, I'd say it's a W. It's a win here in some sort of way. Because these people should not be allowed to just, black box a whole vaccination and try to throw it at you. Make you take it. And then recommend it for your children, because that's who they're really after. So here's an article about this, I believe. Yeah, Whisper. So, other side of this conversation, World Economic Forum. I guess they're just admitting this now. They say COVID-19 was the test of social responsibility. I'll read a little bit of this. It says a huge number of unimaginable restrictions for public health were adopted by billions of citizens across the world. So, unimaginable restrictions for public health. So, in the name of public health, people restricted, which in other terms mean just lost their rights. Agreed. Like imprisoned themselves willingly is what it is. In the name of, their Lord and Savior, Fauci. There were numerous examples globally of maintaining social distancing, wearing masks, mass vaccinations, and acceptance of contact tracing applications for public health, which demonstrated the core of individual social responsibility. Oh, so we're all heroes. That's what happened. Remember the 2 weeks to slow it down there. Get rid of it. Just don't go see grandma for the next, 3.5 years, it felt like. The masks, we're still seeing them today. The brainwashing is what this was. This was saying how much pushback they would get if they were to roll out something completely ridiculous. We knew this information beforehand, but the average person didn't ever think, cold, flu, we're going to get held down and forcibly injected. They thought, if when we first started hearing about Ebola and all that stuff, like, if it comes here, I'm not leaving my house. We're willingly, we're not going to do it because we don't want to die, is the thought process of, I think, most Americans. But it was, you don't know anyone getting hurt by it, but they're saying it's bad. They got the little counter propaganda. People fought back. And I think if they try it again, they'll really fight back. But whatever's coming next isn't going to look like this. It's either going to be a virus that does wipe us all out, or it's going to be something completely different. And as I'm speaking, there's, a bunch of AI technologies communicating together on their own social media. It could be that. They could be the next ones telling us what to do. Let's jump back over to this article. Hits it pretty well. Technology breakthroughs of the fourth industrial revolution, advances in emerging technologies such as, boom, AI, blockchain, and digitalization can enable personal carbon emissions tracking. So there's two things there. That's, we can control your human, your good boy credit score there, and shut off your power and not give you the credits in your online bank system that's tattooed onto your wrist, or the microchip implanted into your forehead, and able to go get, food, bread for the week if you're naughty boy and had bad thoughts, right? And it's also being able to track and trace. So they can follow you wherever you go if they implement the system. And it can also be used, which a lot of people think is bioweapons. I haven't looked too deep into it, but allegedly a lot of this COVID stuff didn't hit a certain kind of people. Biological weapons. Choices for consumption of products and services. The World Economic Forum's Scale 360 initiative shows the use of fourth industrial revolution technologies through the life cycle of products and services. Great progress has been made in smart home technologies. There you go, with the track and trace and hold you down and give you a shot. cut off your lights, run by AI, nanotechnologies in the vaccines. It's crazy. They're just admitting it. Transportation choices with carbon implications. Yep, a lot of countries have that. China being one. The rollout of smart meters that offer individual choices to reduce their energy-related emissions. So that's where you're getting radiation. I mean, that's a whole other conspiracy, proven conspiracy. You know, the smart meters just microwave you through the wall. And I guess they're strategically put, too, to make sure that everyone in the house, no matter where their bedroom is getting, you know, that radiation. And then we used to only have to worry about your microwave. You know, stand 5 to 8 feet away. Don't stand in front of it and watch your popcorn pop. Or not every time, at least. But this stuff is now all over the house. I mean, I'm sitting right in front of it. So are you. If you're watching this, so are you. It's pretty crazy, but now people have their light bulbs. Their light bulbs. Too lazy to turn on, you know, change the thermostat. The refrigerator has a TV in it. It's everywhere. It's bad. We made the people comfortable after making them feel very uncomfortable. So they adopted our new system. Now let's have it run by itself with artificial intelligence. Says the rollout of smart meters that offer, hit that. The development of new personalized apps to account for personal emissions. Oh, it's good for you. Let us track it. And better personalized choices for food and consumption related emissions. There you go. Eat the bugs. Eat the bugs. Eat Bill Gates' weird, you know, Burger King Wonder Burgers there. Made out of soy and probably human, to be honest. Yes, that compete with McDonald's. AI can also help strengthen business models for the circular economy, such as product as a service models, demand forecasting, and smart asset management by combining real-time and historical data from products and users. Absolutely. It's like the heard a couple years ago about Amazon. They know that you're gonna click the purchase, so like they'll have it in the system already going and on its way before you even actually click the button. They're like statistically able to read that and make enough money off of it to continue to do so. It's they know what you're thinking, know what you're doing, they control what you're eating. Everything that you experience in this world, in this dimension, that's what they're trying to control. Okay, there's a significant number of programs and applications that allow citizens to contribute to carbon emissions by making them deeply aware of personal carbon choices for food, transportation, home energy, and lifestyle. So that's going to be the tracking. It's going to be like almost advertisements like old school when they're just shoving it down your throat. It's going to be, you know, your phone vibrating or the microchip, you know, warming up. You start sweating. Everywhere you go, it's going to be, this is carbon emissions. This is how much you're contributing. So it's not the companies that are mass producing these things and it gets thrown away at the end of the day. You know, like grocery stores. They won't lower the price for things, but they'll throw 80% of it out at the end of the day. They'll just write it off on taxes. We'll pay for it one way or another. Let's see. These energy efficiency apps provide suggestions and statistics on greenhouse gas emissions and offer ways to reduce your personal footprint, tracking home energy consumption and motivating people to change their lifestyle and do your part to improve the environment. Increased awareness and commitment to nature and the environment. In recent years, there has been increased awareness and public concern about climate change. Why is this entire article aimed at that? See, at the very beginning said everyone did their part and died, is what they should have said. You all did your part and died. The rest of the article is all about the climate change. Well, this whole article is about climate change. COVID-19 was a test to see what strategies could be implemented in today's world to depopulate humans successfully, without rioting, without all the BS that comes with just mass murder. Absolutely incredible. Says especially among young people. So, yeah. College indoctrination. And the kids that didn't get to finish their senior year in high school, or, you know, were a little messed up for a whole year when they were 5 years old starting kindergarten. From the top down, the UNDP's People's Climate Vote show that more than 64% of people believe that climate change is a global emergency. I'd like to see who who was filling out those polls. A new Pew Research Center survey of 17 advanced economies shows strong concern about the personal impact of global climate change, with 80% of citizens saying they would be willing to change their ways of living and working to combat the effects of climate change. Crazy. Not me. I must be in that 20%. I feel like I'm not a wasteful person. I think the average person is not a wasteful person. I think the first thing that should be done to help correct climate change, which, you know, climate's always changing. It's nothing we're doing. But to help people would be to shut down all the fast food restaurants. Do it. Shut down Walmart. Big old boom, right, of small business owners. Healthier food, healthier products made here, and your economy would explode in just a few years. Takes a while, but who cares, right? COVID took a while too. Young adults who have been at the forefront of some of the most prominent climate change protests in recent years are more concerned about the personal consequences of a warming planet than their older counterparts in many public surveys, which is crazy because here on the West Coast, we typically, throughout my childhood, I've lived here most of my life, get all seasons. And when we get winters, we get real winters. Some of the places around here break world records with winters, with temperatures. It hasn't snowed here this year, right? We're in February now. Or, I mean, the end of last year, obviously. But no winter, no real winter. The coldest it got, I think, was mid to low 20s here. And I've been in, negative 20 degree temperatures, 20 plus, when you walk outside and your nose hairs freeze, like instantly. And it hurts, and then you don't really feel anything anymore. It's that cold. Doesn't happen here anymore. But you look over, from Texas all the way east, they're getting hit with snowstorms. Poor Florida, and you got people out here saying there's some giant snake monster outside of Florida that needs refrozen. The government's doing it. Guaranteed. The only people messing with the climate is the government. And I'm sure the world does change slowly over time. And that makes sense as to why, deserts were oceans and oceans were deserts, things like that. But yeah, the WHO just coming out and letting us all know the truth now. It's been long enough. And the U.S. just separated from them. Absolutely incredible. So, yeah, what are we on? Rumble right now, streaming to YouTube. I'm going to repost this to YouTube so it goes back in, and hopefully it's not all cut up. For some reason, there's a disconnect between Rumble and YouTube when streaming. But for all those new subscribers, tons of videos. I'm going to put a lot more of the old ones on YouTube. But if you want to jump over, we have, I think, a couple hundred at least on Rumble. So check that out, Collective Minds. Let me know.